An attempted rebellion in Russia amid the Ukraine war has sent shockwaves across the world.
I directed my national security team to monitor closely and report to me hour by hour.
I've spoken to the leader of the United States, but also France and Germany over the weekend.
President Putin's illegal war against Ukraine has deepened divisions.
We are reflecting carefully on what the implications could be either in Ukraine or elsewhere.
Let's look at the timeline of how the mutiny unfolded. On the 23rd of June, Wagner head Prigozhin released a video.
Война нужна была олигархам. Она нужна была тому клану, который сегодня...
And for the first time, he rejected Putin's core justification for invading Ukraine. Subsequently, Prigozhin posted audio messages on Telegram saying that the evil of Russia's military leadership must be stopped.
First of all, it is mostly a personal problem between Prigozhin and Defense Minister Sergey, that Prigozhin and his people, 25,000 people, they did not feel so strong to receive the support by the Defense Ministry. So it was a reaction by Prigozhin concerning the that many people in Moscow were not interested what they do. Second one, they did not enough ammunition to fight. And the third one, he was making very strong critics against Vladimir Putin.
Russia's Federal Security Service responded by opening a criminal case against Prigozhin, announcing that the group had called for armed mutiny against the state.
Я призываю остановиться.
On the same day, the deputy commander of Russia's Ukraine campaign, General Sergei Surovikin, urged Wagner's forces to give up their opposition to the military leadership and return to their bases. On the morning of the 24th of June, videos emerged showing unidentified fighters outside Russia's southern military district headquarters in the city of Rostov-on-Don. It showed armed fighters taking positions and patrolling the city's downtown area, with tanks surrounding government facilities.
Когда мы пришли сюда, то мы еще раз подтвердили много новое. Огромное количество территорий потеряно.
Prigozhin released a video from Rostov saying he has taken control of the area. It is in this video that he mentioned about his angst. He went on to criticize Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu for his disorganized approach to the war effort. He also accused the minister of lying about casualties and denying supplies and ammunition to Wagner troops during the fight for the Ukrainian town of Bakhmut. Putin had to strike back, and he made a televised address promising to crush what he calls an armed mutiny. Putin accused Prigozhin of treason and a stab in the back. In the meantime, the office of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko negotiated a deal with Prigozhin, requesting him to de-escalate the situation. And then the unexpected turn of events happened. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin ordered his mercenaries to halt their march to Moscow to avoid shedding Russian blood, and agreed to take refuge in Belarus, thus ending one of the more dramatic challenges to Vladimir Putin's decades-long rule. So what exactly was the brokered deal that led the Wagner group to reconsider and stop? Who is Yevgeny Prigozhin and what is his background? What is the Wagner Group? And why did it clash with Russia's military commanders? Let's understand. After launching a full-scale armed mutiny against Russian armed forces and reaching within 200 kilometers of Moscow on the 24th of June, Yevgeny Prigozhin's Wagner Private Military Company, or PMC, halted its march on the Russian capital. The reason? Wagner turned back on the orders of its boss after a deal was reached between Prigozhin and the Kremlin. Mediated by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, what was in the deal? As per the deal, Wagner mercenary force chief Yevgeny Prigozhin relocated to Belarus. The criminal cases against Prigozhin, which were registered on the 24th of June, were dropped. The deal also ensured that other Wagner troops don't face any punitive action for the rebellion by Russia. It was also confirmed by Kremlin's spokesperson that the military assault plans against Ukraine will remain unaffected by the mutiny. After the deal, Wagner forces began to leave the Russian military facilities they had occupied under the rebellion.
In all of this, one thing needs to be clear. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko proclaimed his peacekeeping role in controlling the Wagner private army's rebellion in neighboring Russia. The question here is, what's in it for Lukashenko? What does he gain by doing this? Lukashenko has always signaled that Russian President Vladimir Putin is his biggest political and financial patron. Another reason is that by hosting Prigozhin and his men, Lukashenko also gets thousands of experienced mercenaries. In short, the deal Lukashenko brokered was simple. Putin drops insurrection charges against Prigozhin and his men, they retreat, and Belarus takes in their chief. And that's exactly what happened. As on date, Prigozhin's whereabouts are a mystery since he was last filmed driving off in southern Russia on the 24th of June. And 3 days later, on the 27th of June, his private jet was tracked flying into Belarus capital Minsk. It remains to be seen if future conflicts between Prigozhin and Putin's allies will backfire on Lukashenko or not.
What was very interesting to see is that while Lukashenko is so-called brokering a deal, the international community, also from the Wagner group, were hearing that they would be given authority and control over nuclear warheads and potentially even the tactical nuclear weapons which Russia claims that it has allotted to Belarus. Lukashenko is not a leader. He is a pawn in this game, and basically I would not believe anything that that man, to think that that man says anything from his own heart, it would be to think that a rock can speak.